there are 11 cost drivers, and this is why we in this room are so important to the process, and I don't think we're ever going to be able to be replaced. If there's any that are not here that you think of, raise your hand. I'd like to know about it. That's where I got number 11. About 6 months ago, somebody came up with number 11 here. Fraud and abuse. I'd forgotten that one. If we get consumers engaged in the process and we educate them properly and work with them and nurture them, these are the ones we can have a positive impact as brokers. The strategy that we employ, you can be modified to just about any way you want to do it, but here are the key differences. One, initially, you don't need a lot of the information. A one-page fact finder can find a lot of information for you, just like a general physical. This is your general physical. It's one-page fact finder, no census information, no payroll information, and you need to begin before the renewal comes in, because there's a lot you need to do or find out about. You get plan information. You get risk exposure questions. There's probably 6 or 7 risk exposure questions on our questionnaire. And by the way, I'll give you any of you that want an opportunity. I'll be happy to release my one-page fact finder to any of you that want it. I call it Benefits and Needs Assessment Form. And then you look very carefully at employer objectives. Now you're being strategic. What is that's hurting you? What is it that's hurting you right now? What's working right? What do you want to do? Why are you offering benefits? It's really boiled down to 5 things, which is another whole other course. But the strategies proposal can be prepared from that which has no products in it at all. You're talking about compliance risks that the client might be exposed to, and if you have a significant compliance risk, you may be able to get a broker of record or preserve a case for yourself very quickly. There's no product in it as well. Again, you want to condense it into 2-page or less executive summary. Even if you happen to be dealing with HR, which you may be, you'll have to work upstream. We'll talk about that. From that, you can identify, and the presentation goals are thus. You want to confirm the priority of the employer objectives. And this is, again, a big area I've seen a lot of mistakes that brokers have made. The client tells them, I can't handle these premium increases anymore. It's killing us financially. The broker sets up an HRA or an HSA and they pass all the savings on to the employer. And the employer didn't tell them they needed to save money. They said they were concerned with controlling costs. Tremendous opportunity there to use that premium differential to transition the employee into that health care consumerism approach. You have several $100s difference in premium. Let the employer put that money up and let the employees use it to either put in their HSA account, put into disability insurance, dental insurance, whatever meets their individual needs. There's your open door for your voluntary and your ancillary benefits. And the employer, you can fix their premium via defined contribution. Define their contribution the next 2 or 3 years into the future. But at any rate, you confirm the priority of objectives and make sure you get them right. Identify compliance risks if there are any out there. Present strategies to evaluate. Should they be evaluating an HRA or an HSA or self-funded maybe? Or maybe a combination of the traditional and consumeristic health care. But the most important thing you're trying to do at this stage is to get the employer to go along with the idea of developing a partnership with their employees. And if you're dealing with the C-suite people, this is a very easy sale and not really that difficult for HR, because you're focusing in on what's really important to the employer, and you now can talk about the shared responsibilities and partnering. And this is why the sale is easy, because the employer no longer chooses the core benefits. They prepare an option package for the employees to choose from. They still make the adequate contribution. That doesn't go away, and that's a very important part of the process. Is if the employer doesn't tell you, I have to cut my costs to maintain the benefits, and you decide to go to an HRA or an HSA, you can use that extra money, like I said, to help transition the employees into the new process over a period of 2 to 3 years or 4 years. Benefit support services for the employee will never go away. You've got to continue to provide the service or you'll lose your client. The most important thing, though, is that the employer's primary responsibility in a consultative benefits partnering strategy is the employer is the school. You are the teacher. And the insurance companies are the department stores where they go to buy the product, whether that's an exchange or whether it's a single carrier. No matter what it is, you are the link between the employer and the seller. And the key is educating the employees. And that's something that we can do better than anybody else in the world, period. The employee's responsibilities go up, and this is where the sale gets easy, because now the employees need to learn to make wise decisions because they're going to be held accountable. They may need to become a more prudent consumer, and they'll have to adopt a healthier lifestyle. And tell them why. The reason is you control the employer's contribution through a defined contribution approach if you set it up that way. And the employer says, we're not going to be raising our rates, our premium contributions or our contributions by 25% next year. So if you don't start making wiser decisions and taking better control of the situation, you're going to probably pay more or have to change your plan. And they see the full amount of the employer contribution. Now, that can be a fee-based option for a 3-year strategic plan, or you can add it as just a value-added service and promote it that way. And still use, if you don't want to charge a fee, be sure and identify it as a strong value-added service. Or if at this point you cannot work upstream, let's say you've been working with HR to this point, and you cannot get an appointment with the CFO, CEO, whoever are the true financial decision makers within the company, you can simply say, well, fine, let me get some census information, some payroll information. We've got some good information here. I'll put together some recommendations. And you're right back into, pardon me, you're right back into the strategy that you've been in, and that's service-oriented, product-driven sales. And you haven't missed a beat. You haven't shot yourself in the foot. You haven't done anything else.